Alright, this is Math 1316, which is Trig. We're working on Chapter 2, Section 2. We're going to be using calculators and the trig functions. I'm David Dipple from Lone Star College, Montgomery, and here's my email address if you want to contact me. Okay, first of all, we need to take angles and divide them into parts similar to with aeronautics and things like that. We use degrees, minutes, and seconds. Now, if you take your circle, 360 degrees, each of those degrees can be chopped into minutes, just like if you have a clock. The whole hour can be chopped into minutes, and there are 60 minutes in a degree. And then each minute is can be segmented into seconds, and there are 60 seconds in a minute. And the symbol, we have a degree, a little circle for degrees. A single hash mark is minutes, and 2 is seconds. Now we can add and subtract and work with degrees, minutes, seconds, just like normal. If you'll take each of those and add them together, 47 and 39, 24 and 54, and 12 and 22, you'll get 12 and 22 is 34, 24 and 54 is 78, and 47 and 39 is 86. Now 86 is bigger than 60, and 78 is bigger than 60, so each of those can add 1 degree, or in the case of seconds, add 1 minute. So we have 34 degrees, and then 78 is 60 plus 18, and 86 is 60 plus 26. So you can take your 86 and add 1 minute and leave left with 16 or 26 seconds. And then take your 78, added 1 is 79, and then I believe 19. So your 86, if you take away 60, you'll have 26 left. 78 added 1 is 79. Take away 60 is 19. You have to carry your 1 and add it to 34. Makes 35. So we have 35, 19, and 26 seconds. Now, we can convert between decimal degrees and degree, minutes, seconds. If we have a decimal, like a quarter of a degree, if you think about how many minutes that is, that's what we're going to be converting to. So you take your 28 degrees and your decimal and multiply the decimal by 60. So 0.25 by 60 makes 15 minutes, because 15 minutes is a quarter, which is 0.25 of a degree. So you have 28 degrees and 15 minutes. So simply take the decimal, multiply by 60, and that will convert it into minutes. Now, to convert degree, minutes, seconds back to decimals, you change those into fractions. 42 is just degrees, 25 is 25 minutes, and there are 60 minutes, so it's 25 sixtieths. 18 is in seconds, and there are 3,600 seconds in a degree. So you make fractions out of each of those, and you get 42 plus 25 sixtieths plus 18 3600ths. And if you can convert each of those to a decimal, 25 sixtieths is 0.4166, 18 3600ths is 0.005, and if you add all those together, you should get 41.4216. And you can just take your calculator and type this in, and it should go directly there. Now, we need to be able to use a calculator on the trig function. So suppose you want to find sine of 44.25 degrees. You should be able to type that directly into your calculator. You may need to push mode to make sure you're in degrees. And once you're in degrees, if you take the sine of 44.25, you should get 0.6977. It will keep going, but let's stop at 4 decimals. Cosine squared of 18.1. If you take the cosine of 18.1, make sure you close the parentheses and square it, you should get 0.9034. And secant, that's 1 divided by cosine. So you take 1 divided by cosine of 82. Make sure you close the parentheses. You should get 7.1853. And again, I type these out to 4 decimal places. When we're finding trig functions, we usually go out to 4 decimal places. Now, suppose we are given some information and you want to find the angles. This will be very useful in future when we have applications. So the functions we use to get angles back out are sine inverse, cosine inverse, and tangent inverse. And those are generally above the sine key, either in blue, orange, or white on a TI graphing calculator. And you push the second key. So suppose we want to find out what angle gives us 0.125. We need to move the sine over. To do that, we use inverse sine. So theta is equal to sine inverse of 0.125. So you push second sine to get the sine inverse, 0.125. And when you push enter, you should get 7.1808. I usually don't carry out degrees to 4 decimals, but in this case I did. On the test, I will specify how many decimals you need. And then what angle gives you cosine of 0.9855? Now, if the cosine is a 4 decimals, you move the cosine over. You don't divide by cosine. Division by cosine is secant. When you move cosine over, that's cosine inverse. So the cosine inverse comes over by the 9855. And cosine inverse of 0.9855 should be 8.6977. So in WebAssign, in section 2, you'll need to be using sine inverse, cosine inverse, and information, degree, minutes, seconds, conversion of those kind of things.